Hello everyone and welcome to this Designbox review video. Today I'm going to be talking you through everything that you're going to need to know about Designbox. And as usual, if you do have any questions regarding this software, do not hesitate to leave your comments and questions in the comment section down below. I'll also be leaving a discounted link in this video's description so that you can always get your money's worth for Designbox. So Designbox is essentially an all-in-one software that allows you to add effects and cool colors and all sort of effects to your images. So it starts off with basic color correction, but you can paint on it, you can make things into GIFs, you can make it into QR codes, things like that. You can create icons, you can add overlays and filters and loads of different things. So here, as you have our main page. Now, as you can see, we have two options for color correction, basic and color. Now, these are obviously to do with different color aspects of the thing, but what we're going to be doing is you need to obviously import a JPEG in order to begin with. This does not work with PNGs. You will have to import a JPEG file, but as soon as you're done, you can start with all these options. So you have a lightness, which obviously when you change it will change the overall sort of gamma of your overall image. Lightness is what is known as gamma in the more professional terms, which basically increases how many pixels and how close a certain pixel is to white. Obviously, the pixels that are more exposed, for example, this lamp down here, will turn to white much faster than, for example, the darker parts, like this blue, navy blue TV, or this black section of the air conditioner or speaker. Now, bringing this back to the middle so that we can see exactly what each of them do is contrast, and contrast increases the difference between what is the darkest points and the lightest points of the image. So as you can see here, bumping up it to the max, we have a very overexposed light, however an almost pitch black and colorless and detailless speaker, sofa and air conditioner cover. However, moving it all the way down to the bottom completely removes any differentiation between black and white and blends it all into grey. So moving it up a little bit, as you can see, it's almost turning black and white, but you still have colours, but that's essentially what contrast does, and you can adjust that slider to fit your needs. Saturation is the overall, vibrancy of the image. It adjusts how powerful each color is. So turning it all the way down to the bottom will more or less grayscale the entire image. You would be able to obviously take this further, but there are some still prominent colors in this image that we're not able to adjust. However, bumping saturation up right to the top, as you can see in comparison to what it used to look like at the beginning, every single color is really emphasized and really, really exaggerated, which gives it a much more colorful and lifelike feel. The only thing that you may run into with saturation is if you do it too much, it does look very, very grainy. You have blotchy areas all around the image which does not necessarily look very good whatsoever. So if you have an image and it just seems a little bit dull, then you want to just increase the saturation ever so slightly. This is one of the things that is not big or anything. You just want to make a slight adjustment to your saturation. And finally, we have the sharpness, and this basically increases the detail of the image. But what is a misconception about sharpness is that it increases the resolution, and it doesn't do that. Sharpness basically creates individual lines and black and white lines around sections of the image to give them more definition. Almost. So if we bump it up to the max, as you can see, every single thing, a little bit like anti-aliasing in a video game, makes much more curved and rugged corners. And bumping it down, all the details almost look blurry. However, when you look at things individually, they've lost detail. And they are basically the four features. Now, we also can add filters to it as well. We can add factors and factors of that filter, so we can add certain elements, and we won't go through all of these, but really useful. And you also have image composition, where you can add certain compositions and hit apply to change the image. Now, you also have color, which basically just adds RGB and overall hue. We won't go through these as much as the other ones, but basically this adjusts the amount of red, green and blue colors in the image. Painter is an inbuilt painting application which basically allows you to draw whatever you want with any color. Very self-explanatory, and you have a number of tools, for example, lines, text, fill, drawings, sort of color drop, things like that, to make sure that you've got a nice sort of drawing graphic design utility there. Under Convert, you can convert particular images to different sort of types. So you have a file name, size and dimensions, and you can have the original and the destination of what that file is. So the things that you can do is you can rotate rotate the file, you can resize it, you can add a watermark to it, rename it, or overall change the output of it. So here are the different things that you can obviously do. And when you've imported an image, all you would need to do for rotate is select I want to rotate it and by how much there, the condition to whether you want it to be just to the width over the height or the height over the width, or whether you want it to be the whole image. You can also resize it to have a different aspect ratio. Obviously, this makes more sense if you're downscaling, because upscaling would just make the photo look a little bit worse. Obviously, if you do want it to have it for a different platform and it needs a specific aspect ratio, then you can do that. But one of the things you want to stick to is downsizing on this. You don't want to be too high. Watermark, if the image that you have is going to be copyrighted by you and you don't want anyone else using it, at least without your accreditation on it, then you can add some text, or you can add an image displaying your name and your business on it. So all you would need to do is hit the check mark, what you want it to be, and what the text is going to actually say. So for example, copyright at 2012, but I would put opulent at 2023. And then you'd be able to change the font and the color of that if you wanted to, and also set a random position if you want to, or a specified position from this list. You can also rename it, so you can rename the file, very, very simple, and then also change the output that you want it to go to as well. So you can change it to be a JPEG, PNG, BMP, TIF, TIFF, any of these, image or animation formats, and that's really, really useful to be able to do as well. You can also make GIFs. All you would need to do is either add frames or add a small video that you can then set the aspect ratio and the delay time and how many times you want it to loop, and also the overall quality. And all you would need to do is hit the add button down here, and it will obviously import the image for you. Now you also have SVG convert, and what this allows you to do is essentially go through everything that you've got and convert it to different sort of SVG formats. So you'd be able to set the export quality, the area of the actual overall image, and the original size, and then how much you want it to export by. And you can also batch convert as well. If there are things that you want to convert in like a large amount instead of doing it one by one, that's the batch convert function for you. Also, you can set iOS icon, so if you have an image and you want it for an iOS application that your business is developing or something like that, then you'd be able to import an image and it would automatically give you every aspect ratio that you will need to publish an app on the Apple Store. For example, everything from 29 by 29 all the way up to 1024 by 1024 HD. So really, really useful to be able to actually have, and instead of having to go through, say, on Photoshop and go through every one and output it as all the different formats, this has built-in things, which, let me add, is definitely one of the reasons people are going to want to use this software. It saves time and it's efficient. Being able to have something that allows you to publish things, say, on the Apple Store or Play Store really, really easily with all the formats ready-made for you without you having to hassle around, and it does it automatically for you, is an excellent thing. And the final thing that you can do is QR code. To input text, this will then bring your text into a QR code that you can then put on a website, and you can also do URLs, phone numbers, emails, texts, contacts, geographical location, Wi-Fi, or event. So really, really useful to be able to have those features too. Up at File, we have the options to copy whatever we've got on our platform already. We can export anything we've got, or we can exit. You also have the option to change the overall system language as well. So for example, we have Polish, and we also have English, and then under Help, you can view your user guide, your registry, you can order the product, you can view their website, and you can also go to About. But as you can see, the image overall is really, really easy. And if we go onto the right very, very quickly, going back to the effect page, one thing I quickly glossed over are the filters that you can add. So you have different types of filters. You have fashion, digital, Lomo, basic, or favorites. So you can add ones to your favorites if you wanted to. But for example, if we went to digital, we'd be able to sort of replicate what a digital camera would look like just by editing the overall color scheme. So what this will be doing is actually editing the overall options over here in order to give it an interesting feel. You will be able to see the move, as you can see. So all of these are just certain presets, and you can even add overlays such as this, which basically give it a little bit more of an interesting vintage feel to it, which I think is really, really good. But now it begs the question, why might somebody want to use this, and would I recommend it? And as I said, this is just overall efficient. There are things that people want to do, and there's never really been that one program that integrates all these features together just to be able to do stuff, not just create, but export and move to different certain platforms and things like that. No software has all of these integrated apart from Designbox, and that is one thing that I have to commend them for. It's a very, very useful feature. However, would I recommend it? The answer to that is also a very, very big yes. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, although the interface may seem quite old. That again does not prohibit on any of the issues or any sort of user interface and user experience. It's still very easy to use, and all the features work flawlessly. It's very easy. I love how it works. I really like the features. They're very, very useful, and you will never be short of the things that you can do with this software. My favorite feature on it is definitely the iOS icon. Being able to publish an app and just have everything done saves you hours and hours, not hours, but maybe about an hour and maybe to an hour and a half of time just faffing about in Photoshop and getting all of that stuff good. So that is more or less it for this review. Thank you everyone so much for watching. I will see you next time, but for now, goodbye.